It was exactly 3:07 a.m. when the piercing sound of the phone jolted Elena awake. She was a nurse, used to emergency calls at odd hours, but something about this night felt different. Her tiny apartment was dark, the street outside silent, and the glowing screen displayed an unknown number. For a moment, she considered ignoring it. She was exhausted after a double shift at the hospital. But something tugged at her heart, the kind of intuition that nurses develop after years of caring for strangers. With a sigh, she picked up. "Hello." Her voice was groggy but gentle. On the other side was panic. A man's voice, deep yet trembling, pleaded desperately, "Please, my daughter, she's burning up. I don't know what to do. I need help. Please, come quickly." Elena's nurse's instinct kicked in immediately. She asked for the address, scribbling it down. Only after the call ended did she realize, he never once mentioned her name. Still, without hesitation, Elena grabbed her worn-out medical bag, pulled on a sweater, and stepped out into the cold night. The address led her to the gates of a towering mansion on the wealthy side of town, a place she had never dreamed of entering. Security guards opened the gates as soon as she arrived, as though they were expecting her. Confused but determined, Elena hurried inside. The front doors swung open, and standing there was a man unlike any she had ever seen. Tall, sharp-jawed, his hair slightly tousled, his suit half-buttoned as though he'd rushed out of bed. His eyes were stormy with worry. "You're here," he breathed in relief. "Thank God. Please, my little girl." Without waiting for introductions, Elena followed him upstairs. In the enormous bedroom, a small girl lay on a king-sized bed, cheeks flushed, body trembling with fever. Elena's heart softened instantly. "She'll be okay," Elena whispered gently, brushing the child's damp hair back. She worked quickly, checking the fever, preparing a cold compress, administering medicine with calm precision. Slowly, the girl's breathing eased. The man, who she realized must be the father, stood by helplessly, watching Elena with an intensity that made her uneasy. Finally, when the child was resting peacefully, Elena stood and smiled softly. "She just needs rest now. The fever will go down by morning." The father let out a shaky breath, his shoulders finally relaxing. "I don't even know your name," he admitted. "Elena," she said. "And you are?" "Adrian Blackwood," he replied. The name rang a bell. Adrian Blackwood, the CEO of one of the most powerful companies in the city. A billionaire, a man whose face was often in newspapers, though rarely with a smile. Elena's stomach dropped. A billionaire had called her, but why? As though sensing her confusion, Adrian frowned. "I asked the hospital for their best pediatric nurse. They must have sent you." Elena froze. "Wait, what? I don't work for private clients. I'm a hospital nurse. I thought this was an emergency call from work." For a long moment, silence filled the room. Then Adrian's eyes widened with realization. "You mean, you weren't the one they meant to send?" Elena's cheeks flushed. She had rushed here on a wrong call. She turned quickly to gather her things. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have intruded. I'll just wait." His voice was commanding, yet desperate. "You came anyway. You helped her. You didn't even know who we were, and you still came at 3 a.m. That means something." Elena paused, unsure how to respond. And that was the beginning. The next morning, Adrian refused to let her simply leave. He insisted on paying her handsomely, but Elena shook her head. "I didn't do it for money. I'm a nurse. Helping people is my job." That answer stunned him. He was used to people circling him for wealth, power, favors. But here was a woman who walked into his mansion, saved his daughter, and refused even a cent. For days afterward, Adrian couldn't stop thinking about her. About the way her gentle hands had soothed his daughter. The way her eyes held no fear of him, no agenda. His daughter, Lily, couldn't stop talking about Elena either. "Daddy, when will the nice nurse come back? She told me a story about stars." Finally, Adrian did something he rarely did. He called. Not through an assistant, not through a secretary. Personally. "Elena," he said, his voice softer this time. "Lily hasn't smiled this much in months. Would you consider coming back? Not as a nurse, just as a friend." For her, Elena hesitated. She knew this world wasn't hers. She was a simple nurse, living paycheck to paycheck, while he was a billionaire CEO. But one visit became two. Two became many. Soon, she found herself drawn not just to Lily, but to Adrian himself. Adrian, too, found himself changing. The cold, ruthless businessman began lingering at home instead of at boardrooms, just to watch Elena laugh with his daughter. He found excuses to join them: movie nights, pancake breakfasts, trips to the park. But beneath it all, there was a secret Adrian carried. A reason why Lily had been so lonely. Her mother had left years ago, unable to handle the weight of raising a child while married to a man with empires to run. Adrian had built walls around his heart ever since, determined never to let anyone close again. Until Elena. One evening, after a long day, Elena found herself on the balcony with Adrian. The city lights sparkled below, the night air cool against her skin. "Why did you really come that night?" Adrian asked quietly. Elena smiled faintly. "Because someone needed help, that's all." "No," he said, eyes piercing into hers. "It was more than that. You could have ignored the call. But you didn't. And now, I can't imagine what would have happened if you hadn't shown up." The air grew heavy with unspoken words. Elena's heart raced. She told herself this was dangerous, that men like him didn't end up with women like her. But when Adrian's hand brushed against hers, warmth spread through her veins. Still, she pulled back. "Adrian, I can't. I don't belong in your world." His jaw tightened, but his voice was steady. "Maybe you're the only one who belongs here." But love was never simple. Word spread quickly in the media when Adrian was seen with a mysterious woman who was not from his elite circle. Headlines exploded. Billionaire CEO seen with lowly nurse. Elena became the target of whispers, sneers, even threats. She thought about walking away, for her own sanity, and for Lily's. But when Lily clung to her one night, whispering, "Please don't leave us, Elena," her heart broke. And when Adrian pulled her close, his voice fierce, "Let them talk. I've built empires, fought enemies, lost battles. But I will not lose you." She knew this was bigger than fear. It was love, real, raw, unstoppable. The story of Elena and Adrian spread like wildfire. Not because she was rich or glamorous, but because she was ordinary, and yet extraordinary in her courage, her kindness, her refusal to let power or money define her worth. She had come at 3 a.m. on a wrong call, and in doing so, she answered the right call of destiny. From that night on, she wasn't just the nurse who saved a little girl. She was the woman who healed a billionaire's broken heart, the mother figure Lily had longed for, and the love Adrian never thought he'd find again. And true to his word, Adrian never let her leave. Not the mansion, not his life, not his heart. Forever began with a wrong call at 3 a.m.